Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Today, we're going to be taking a look at a couple of clips, one of which the person says that they were fat-shamed at the palm reader. There are so many different potential fat-shaming scenarios that can happen, but at the palm reader of all places, I would have never guessed. This is Lily, the subscribe puppy. Oh, Lily. She wants you to subscribe. She does. Oh my goodness. Besides the palm reader one, we also have a couple miscellaneous clips. Let us waste no time and dive right in with the applying of comb to mustache.
So while I obviously don't have definitive proof that the palm reader said I wouldn't find love until later in life because I was fat.
You may not have definitive proof, but he did look at you a certain kind of way, though. Or she.
I just think it's funny how so many of the adults in my life had pointed out before that point, they would say things like, oh, you're gonna like grow into your looks basically, or like skinny people's faces are gonna fall, but your face is gonna settle and you're gonna look young when you're 30.
Is that something that people tell overweight people? It's alright that you're overweight, man. Your face is not gonna sag like skinny people's face. I never heard that one. That's a good one.
And you're gonna hit your prime in your 30s.
What? Why would everything... So if you're overweight, like everything just gets delayed by like 10 years. Instead of your prime being at this age, you're just going to be at that age. And you're going to finally start living your life when you get to your 30s. What? Who's saying this?
And things like, oh, the boys now, they're immature and they can't handle a real woman. But like later you're going to meet men who like can handle being with the fat girl.
Oh, that's true. The dudes in their 30s all want to be with a larger woman. That's true. Once they have matured past the juvenile stages of wanting somebody who is not obese, then.
And I also basically had people say that they expected me to be a later in life bride. To which I said, if I'm not married by 35, I'm never getting married. But
why? Why wouldn't you get married after 35? What's the problem?
Anyway, that palm reader had also pointed out that this part of my fingers, which she called the third eye, is that a thing?
She called your finger a third eye? I don't know, man. It's a pretty bizarre palm reading all around.
Is that a palm reading thing? She said I have a fleshy third eye.
Oh, you got a fleshy third eye. Okay, that's a freaking bizarre. My third eye is scaly. It's all full of scales.
And that meant that I was smart and a know-it-all. Yes, I still remember this, and I was like 12 at the time. You know.
Who was allowing a 12-year-old to get a palm reading? Where were your parents? Your parents should have been nearby to stop you from partaking in this witchcraft.
You know what? Shit like this, it'll stick with you. Someone grabbing your fat hand and being like, this is what your fat hand means about you? Bro, I was 12. I had lots of body issues. But anyway, I feel like fat people get these types of predictions a lot.
So you think that they're like, yo, you're going to come into your own when you get older because you're overweight, and they didn't even read your palm at all? Is that what you're saying? So you're insinuating that they didn't read your palm at all. They just looked at you and they're like, oh, you're fat. You're not going to be with anybody until you're in your 30s.
And while I don't necessarily completely disbelieve psychics, palm readers, etc.
You don't? Even though they shysted you? What's it going to take for you to stop believing in palm reading?
Like, I do think there is a high possibility that the vibes people get are partly based on stereotype.
No. The palm reader is just fatphobic. They didn't even look at your palm at all. You hand them your hand and they're like, oh, this is a very large hand.
And the stereotype of fat people, of course, is lonely, sad, never finding love, ugly, whatever. Or if you do find love, it's gonna be later in life.
Okay, that's a weird one. I've never heard any of that before. All right, you're overweight, so you'll find love later in life, I suppose. That makes a lot of sense. At least there was some sort of love in your future, huh? When I went to the palm reader, they just recommended that I use lotion. They're like, this hand is the driest hand that I have ever felt, my friend. Next.
When you are perceived as a woman and aren't conventionally attractive, a lot of people think this means that you get out of the objectification. You don't. Men will still objectify you.
We will.
But they do not view you as objects with any value.
Okay, so I'm supposed to objectify you but give you less value than other objects that I objectify, okay? Go ahead and continue to lay down the ground rules, please.
With other women, they want to use those objects. They want to admire those objects. But with you, they want to throw you away in the trash.
Dang, dude. This is getting dark, man. What the heck? You really feel that way? You think that men just want to throw you away in the trash after they objectify you, though? This is a sad state of affairs, my friends.
Or they want to use you and expect you to be grateful because nobody else wanted to use you.
What do you consider using you? Like he banged you and they didn't call you back or whatever?
You're the toy that none of the kids wanted to play with anymore.
Man, this is getting dark. This is getting really dark and sad.
So you may not be sexualized, but you are still objectified.
Okay, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry that whoever did whatever to you more than Tracy T. I would never objectify you, and I would never leave you. I'm not like the others. Just kidding. I'm just like the others. Fools. Oh, I'm stupid. Next, when you're with a guy and he says to you, it's okay, I don't mind girls with a little bit of tummy, and suddenly you're 11 years old watching all the other girls play carelessly in their bikinis at the pool party while you're sitting in your tankini wrapped in a towel eating pizza. I don't know what a tankini is. Is that like a tank top bikini? I guess that sounds right.
Men have no idea what a little bit of tummy is.
We don't know what a little bit of tummy is? Okay, well there are different levels, so we have our own standards for what a little bit is and what a lot of it is.
Have no freaking idea. Okay, and honestly, I gotta say, I blame porn. There is a standard size of woman in the entertainment industry and in porn, and anything outside of that standard is bigger, chubbier, BBW.
So you're angry that men consider a little bit of tummy to actually be a little bit of tummy and not a whole lot of bit of tummy. I think you'll find that the larger and larger a person gets, the more out of touch with the reality of what a normal tummy size is. But there are many different varieties, many different shades of chubby and tummy. I mean, we can range all the way from somebody having an excess of like 10 pounds to somebody having an excess of like 100 pounds. I don't know if I would just call it like a little bit of tummy if you've got 100 extra pounds on your physique. But like I said, the larger and larger we get, the smaller and smaller we consider everybody else who is not as large as us. It's this weird coping mechanism that people do. Like Fat Sapphic Bro being like, yo man, you guys aren't even fat if you could still breathe. And you're like, no man, there's plenty of people that are fat who aren't completely dying yet.
Whatever. And there are so many levels of outside that standard, but men view women in two categories, either in the standard or outside the standard.
That's not true. There are people who just have a little bit of tummy, like we were just talking about. And then there are people that have like a whole lot of extra human. We don't see you as either thin or obese. There's several different levels to this thing, all contained within the fatness spectrum.
And sometimes, way outside the standard is a separate category. So it's so weird because they literally separate women into the skinny standard, acceptably fat, and unacceptably fat.
Okay, that's 3 different categories now. You just said a second ago there were only 2 categories. You either fit in the standard or you don't. So you're contradicting yourself.
And that's like how they conceive of their sexual preferences. My source is reading a lot of Reddit threads about what body types people prefer.
All right, your source is reading a Reddit thread where people talk about all the different body types that they prefer. I think a lot of men are willing to accept a lot more than you give them credit for. Sure, there are some dudes that are just like, oh my god, if you have any sort of tummy at all, that's disgusting. But there are plenty of dudes who are more open-minded to a chick who is chubbier or has a tummy. Although, as you said, our definition of chubby or tummy is basically rail thin. Personally, you're not even on my radar until you cross that 400-pound mark. It just seems like all these videos are meant to make yourself feel bad. And anybody who has a similar ideology to you is also going to feel bad about this. They're going to be like, yeah, men don't want me either. And then you start crying about it. Next.
It's been a week since this happened, so let's talk about it. Last week, my roommate and I went to Universal Orlando. We went to the Halloween Horror Nights. So we're getting a pass at guest services, but it's a really long line. So as soon as we're done getting what we need, we're headed out of line. So as we pass a couple people, we hear, "Here come the beach balls."
Dude, this didn't happen. Stop it. Did you happen to be in a movie that took place in the 80s or the 90s? Because that's what that sounds like. Here come the beach balls. Like people making fun of fat people in that sort of way.
Rude. So I turned around and I went, grow the fuck up, excuse me. and
then both of these figments of my imagination just disappeared into thin air.
Ended up being a 14-year-old boy that did that to us, and I got into a fight with his mother. Anyway, while that's happening...
While I'm dropping elbows on the mother, the boy comes up and tries to say that I'm overweight. So naturally, I pepper sprayed him and kicked him down the stairs.
My roommate goes to get a member of guest services to talk about it because it was fucking humiliating.
What? What are you going to talk about guest services for? For what? What are they going to do? Are they going to remove the boy and lock up his mother? Is that what you would like? One day, God willing, this sort of fat phobia will be illegal and that boy will be whipped publicly.
The member of guest services goes up to the boys and starts laughing with them.
Did they? All right, I work with guest services. I heard that you were making fun of this fat lady over here, young man. Is that true? Yeah, it's true. I mean, look at her. She is overweight. Well, I was going to reprimand you, but, yeah, look at her. Look at you. Overweight she is. And then you're just like, oh. And then the general manager came in and started laughing at me too. And then you're just like, all right, let me talk to your boss then. And then that person's boss comes and also starts laughing at you. And this just keeps on happening. You keep climbing the corporate ladder, going to the next person's boss, and they keep bringing them in like, all right, here's the director of regional sales for the district. Like, he comes in and starts laughing too. Eventually, it goes all the way up to frickin' Walt Disney himself. Wait, no, you're at Universal Studios, whatever. They bring in Walt Disney's frozen head. Like, get a load of this chick, Walt, she's fat. And he's like, oh my.
As I tell the boys that they should be respectful and they should not call us beach balls.
And then all the other guests started pointing and laughing at you. Is this like one of those and then everyone clapped stories, but like it's 20 times worse?
I repeated that out loud, and the entire crowd hears it, and they all start laughing at my roommate and I. It was
This is like something from a freaking like 80s frat movie or some crap. Hey, you guys want to get some beers and go down to the pond?
It's one of the most humiliating, dehumanizing experiences of my life.
Well, if any of that happened, I'm sorry, because that is horrible. And then we called the cops, and they came in and started laughing at me too, and then they tased me and arrested me. You keep reaching out for help to all these different groups, but they just keep making fun of you as well. Oh man, it's rough. If any of this happened, madam.
And it ruined our entire night, and we didn't enjoy ourselves at all.
Well, you know, I don't blame you. It can be real rough getting fat shamed by the mayor and the city councilman and all these other people that you kept bringing into the situation, expecting them to help, but then they just kept fat shaming you. Next.
Congratulations on losing 9 pounds. This is what that looks like. Here is 5, 6.
As a non-diet dietitian, this message is very problematic.
Her message is very problematic, and you are a non-diet dietitian. Okay. Did I find another charlatan selling non-diet dietitian stuff? Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
First of all, when people lose weight, significant weight in a short period of time, it's actually muscle mass and water that's actually breaking down, meaning...
No, it's not. Why would it do that? The excess energy that was stored as fat, it's not going to burn that first. It's just going to go right for the muscle, right? Because somehow we've survived thousands of years by having moronic bodies, right? I know that when you eat in excess, it's stored as body fat, but when it comes time that I need extra energy, I'm going to burn the muscle instead. I am your body. I am a moron. That's like storing up a bunch of firewood for the winter, and then when the time comes to use it, you break down the couch and burn that instead. Why would you?
Your body is eating its muscles.
It's eating its muscles. No, it's not. That's real dumb. Even from just a common sense standpoint, that's dumb and doesn't make any sense. How would we be alive this long? How did our ancestors survive, man?
And its organs.
And your organs too? Oh, shit. So when I skip breakfast, my body's eating my liver?
Not fat mass.
Why? Why wouldn't it burn the fat mass? It requires significant effort for your body to break down the muscles and turn them into fuel. And that happens like in the late stages of starvation.
Number 2, where you're never supposed to comment on people's weight loss.
Sure we can. She was showing a bunch of pieces of bread and being like, yo, here's 6 pounds of bread or whatever, or 9 pounds or whatever it was. Like, yo, you lost all this, good job.
Be commenting an eating disorder, depression, cancer, anxiety, who knows what.
I'll comment on somebody's weight loss if I want. So you're insinuating that I might congratulate somebody on losing weight and then they're like, I have cancer. And I'll be like, yeah, well, you know what? That cancer's doing wonders for your waistline, I gotta tell you. Is that insensitive? I'm sorry. It's not funny to have cancer. But it can help you with weight loss. I'm sorry. I should stop with the cancer jokes. He just keeps joking about cancer. I don't think I can watch this guy anymore. This is too much.
People need to stop commenting on people's bodies and congratulating them.
Why? Do you wish somebody would congratulate you on your body and they didn't? So now you're decreeing that nobody else will be allowed to compliment each other on their bodies either? Nobody ever complimented me on my weight loss, so none of you will do it either. Body positive. This is body positive. That's why I'm doing this. I'm not just riddled with a bunch of personal issues and taking it out on all of you. This is body positive.
When they're shrinking.
When they're shrinking. Oh, dude, I hate the term shrinking my body so freaking much, dude. That's a big pet peeve of mine, shrinking my body. Like, they use it in the fat acceptance community all the time. They say that someone's trying to force you to shrink your body. Oh my God, dude. The whole disconnecting self from your body thing really drives me nuts. Fat bodies exist freely in space. We shouldn't be trying to make people shrink their bodies. Like, dude, you are your body, homie. All right? It's not a raft that you're floating down the stream on. It's your body. It's you. You are it. Shrink my body. You mean lose weight? They make it sound like it's some sort of unnatural, bizarre thing that involves like some kind of tractor beam or some crap. Get the shrink ray. Honey, I shrunk the body.
This is problematic.
No, it's not. She was showing the person a visualization of how much weight she had lost using bread. Our good old friend bread.
And thirdly, you're commenting on promoting someone's weight loss. This is really a projection of your own fat phobia. And
I think you're projecting with these videos here. Talking about nobody's allowed to congratulate each other because nobody congratulated you or whatever your issue is here.
your own weight stigma. And that is an oppressive system that we need to stop doing.
That is an oppressive system that we need to stop doing. Yes, stop doing that system, guys. What? What? That doesn't make any goddamn sense. So do we have another thin, charlatan, anti-diet diet coach? Encouraging other people to eat whatever they want, even though she clearly does not? Methinks we do. I think we do. When you start your statement off with, I'm an anti-diet diet coach, that's when everybody's brain should just turn off immediately. Like, oh, you're an anti-diet diet? What the hell? Hey guys, I'm your alcoholic sobriety coach. When you've got 1 year clean, we're gonna go to the bar. We're gonna do this thing. Oh, dang it, the flower wasn't facing me the whole time. It was facing the wall. Damn it. So those were just a couple of quick videos for us to take a look at today. I particularly like the palm reader story. You know, these instances of fat phobia, they can pop up anywhere, and they do. They pop up in all kinds of bizarre situations. Next, we're gonna have like the fatphobic astrologer or something, right? They're gonna be like, oh, you're a Leo, but you're overweight, so I see loneliness in your future. You're like, they didn't even read my sign or do my astrology chart or whatever. They just looked at me and said, you're gonna be alone. They're like, you're gonna be alone. You're like, you got all that just from looking at my star signs, huh? And then they're like, star signs? What? I'm a plumber, lady. There are many different ways and many different areas in which fat phobia can rear its ugly head. I come in here for an astrological reading and you tell me to lose weight? You said it was in the stars for me to lose 20 pounds? Bastards! Anyway, that about does it. Thanks for watching, commenting, liking, and subscribing. And I'll see you in the next one.